Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retirement Corner. Hey man, I don't often do a video on Saturday, but I got a little busy doing nothing yesterday. It ain't hard to do nothing, but it tends to be time consuming. And I just didn't get a chance to make a video. But I wanted to get on here especially to wish all you moms out there a happy Mother's Day tomorrow. Moms are special people, and they deserve that day all to themselves, Doc. You know, they wipe your nose and your butt when you're young. They tend to be your biggest cheerleader and supporter. They love you all their lives. You know, so I mean, I just want to wish you moms a happy Mother's Day. I hope it's a good day for you. Surrounded by family and loved ones. Just enjoying being together. And if your mom's still around and you can get a chance to visit her, man, make sure you give her an extra hug or a kiss before you leave. Tell her you love her. It's a simple thing, but you won't believe how much it means to her. Now on with the show. Hey man, do your due diligence, man. It's nobody's going to protect your money or look after your money, you know, as well as you are. I mean, it's just a plain fact, Doc. You know, retirement's totally a personal decision. From when you decide to go, how much you decide you need, how much you're going to spend, all of it, man. What you're going to do. There's really no wrong or right way to do it, but there is a wrong way for you. And that's what you're doing in retirement. And that's, hey man, I try real hard not to give any advice. But this is what I thought before I retired, and you know, I've come to find out that, you know, it's true for me anyways. You know, there ain't no rule book. It's just the one you make up. The trick is to find what works right for you. There's a million different ways to retire. There's many different ways to retire as there are people that are retired, Doc. You know, you got to be careful of, you know, following the wrong path because somebody says it worked for them. You know, everybody didn't buy the same house. Everybody didn't drive the same car, eat the same food, have the same job. Well, there's no reason your retirement should be like anybody else's. You know, sure, you know, having your own business, hey man, that allowed you to be able to retire. Everybody ain't built to have their own business. You know, everybody wasn't built to go to college. Everybody, you know, it's just totally different. I think it's a good idea to get all the information you can, you know, and look at your options. That's what I did, man, for everything. That's why a lot of the stuff I do don't really float in today's new age of retirement. You know, it just doesn't float with normal retirement living or a normal way to get there. You know, it was a couple years ago I did a thought process on here, question on here. I forget exactly how it went. Something like you had a half gallon of gas in your car. Closest gas station was 30 miles. How do you get there? You know, that's the same thing for retirement. You know, everybody's got a different answer. And it's the one that works for them. It might not work for me, but doggone, if it works for you, ride it, buddy. You know? And I think that goes a long ways. You got to trust yourself. You don't believe how many skills that you've developed over the course of your life that transfers right into retirement. Somehow you got here, Doc. That buddy of mine I meet down at the park sometimes when I'm taking my walk, and he's in his 80s, and he'd tell me that. He says, you know, I take a minute and I look back and see what I've done over my life. He says, man, I just can't believe I actually did all that. You know? You know, somehow you got here, man. I said it in another video a couple years ago. It was over at Mama's. I remember doing it. You said you was like a cockroach, man. You can't get rid of you. You know? I mean, you look at all you've overcome to get to retirement, and you think you can't make it the next decade or two. I just don't see how that's possible. Maybe I'm overly optimistic. Heck, I don't know. But don't trust a whole lot without double checking it first. Get a lot of options and pick and choose. Cherry pick what you think is going to work for you. Don't be afraid of making a mistake, because it's guaranteed you're going to make one. I don't know about you, but it's guaranteed I make one. That's why I always have to buy extra lumber. But hey man, the key thing to that, man, I've known some people that just had some bad luck, and they react two different ways. Usually they use that moment to, blame for what went on the rest of their lives, and the other ones, they get through that situation the best they can at the moment. They try to learn from it and they move on. That moving on is the thing that stops a lot of people. They can't seem to do that. Yeah, you had a bad spell when you was 30 years old, but what did you do afterwards? You know what I mean? That's what counts. I don't know. Those kind of things helped me deciding to retire, getting to retirement, and to be in retirement. I'm pretty confident in the fact that, hey man, no matter what life throws at me, somehow I'll make it through. I always have. There's no signs that says I won't going forward. Retirement's not much different than any job you ever had. You knew what the job entailed, but you weren't too sure about the process behind it, and the steps in it and everything else. You had to learn them, and you adapted them to the situation. Hey, yeah, that's the way to do it, but it works a little bit better if I do it this way, for me. I worked at the string factory for years. They wouldn't hire anybody left-handed. The machines were set up for right-handers. And Dad had a hard time getting on down there when he first came to Virginia because of that. And it looks awkward. If you see one of them running one of them machines left-handed, it looks like they can cut the whole arm off. It looks terrible. But, they figure out how to do it left-handed, and they can do it left-handed. Same for retirement. Whether you want to sit around and watch the birds fly, or whether you want to go around the world cruise. One is not the type of retirement somebody else wants to live. That's the thing about all the advice and help and stuff out there in the world about daggone retirement. It's all tailored to a certain type of retirement, and that might not be you at all. The only thing that's really given me any trouble at all since I've been retired is trying to fit myself into what somebody else says retirement should be like. It's like putting a daggone square peg in a round hole, Doc. There just ain't a hammer big enough to make me fit. And once I realized that bothered me that first year, maybe that first year and a half or so. I kept striving, looking for that stuff, that reason, purpose, I couldn't understand how come I was having such a good time in retirement. I didn't have any of that. Got no hobbies. I didn't have the magic million. By all rights in today's time, man, I'd be the most miserable man in retirement that ever lived. But it's just the opposite for me. I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about. Gather your information. Get people to overlook everything. Trust yourself a little bit. Understand what you're wanting. Your outcome, what kind of outcome you want. Look at your options and figure out what you think would work best for you. If it don't, you can always change course, man. You know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, man, y'all enjoy yourselves, man. Y'all take care. Enjoy the weekend. Don't forget about moms this Sunday. And hey, we'll talk to y'all later.